So I was disconnected with internet, so I'm sorry for that, and there was technical issue. So let me check everything's all right or not. Then I'm going to start with that. Okay. Now things working properly. I think. Yeah. Let me check for voice. So everything's all right. So start with this again. Okay. All right. Now it's good. So where I was just talking about a state variable. Like this index is my state variable, and this next index is my seater function. This is seater function to updating the current value of index. To updating the current value of index, we are using the seater function set index. Before you start with this, always be remember to use this small character of set and the small character of this use for the naming convention. All right. So let me wait for a second. I'm sorry for disturbance. There was my father's call. That's why I was quickly cut off my voice. So when we understand the index and the set index, what's this and why we are using this and all these things. So moving forward, the brackets. Okay. I'm sorry for disturbance. There was my father's call. That's why okay. Like this bracket syntax is here of array destructor. What's that? Array destructuring. To using the array destructuring. Okay, if you this is the one of the new functionality in JavaScript to destructuration, like destructure, like sending the information from use state to here. Okay, and let your read variable from array. Okay, the array returns use state returned by use state always has exactly two items. All right. To this is how they work together in handle click, like set index be like this. Okay, let's improve this. We are going to creating our own const. What we are going to creating what we are going to create a state variable, like for page and set new page, okay, and use state. Always remember to use the states with what? Always we import the state, import the state. How you are going to importing that? Like import use state from React. Import use state from React. Import use state from, okay. This is the syntax you are going to importing the use state from React. After this you are going to send the initial value to the page, okay, to send the initial value to page, and that's it. You have just created the what? You have just created the state variable here, and for updating the state variable, whenever the user click on the button next, you are not going to update the like this. You are going to update like set new page with what? Page plus one, okay. Set new page with what? Page page plus one, and in 11th line let sculpture equals to page, and page plus one, and I think that's it. When you click on here, like you can see here, whenever you are going to clicking on the next, it's updating the things. Like how it's amazing, it's start working. Okay, let's see what happened when I went to the last page and I'm going to click here. It says nothing. Okay, to using this thing, to making this as a what? To making this possible, we are going to use what? We are going to use like let new page equals to page plus one. Always be under this number of 12. Always be under the number of 12. Hope you understand this, what I'm going to using this. This is logic we are going to make here to make the page under the hood, making the page under the hood. Like when I click next, it's on the 12, 13, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and again I click here. Oh, that's not working. That's not working. Actually, what I'm going to use here? Always under the hood like this. Hope this work right now. Yeah, that now it's working. Now it's working. Hope you understand what I did. Now, whenever the user clicking on this page, like now it's 10, now it's become 11, now it's 12. When I click again here, it's put me on the first page. It's going to put me on the first page. That's the magic of this, to making our array in a circular array. That's why I use this. Or not even you can use like this. You can use like what? You can use like this, like let me show you. Sculpture dot length, sculpture dot length, whatever the length of the sculpture, working with the same. Okay, hope you understand what I'm trying to telling you. if my length of my sculpture is changing, if my length of sculpture is going to change, it will be changing on the basis of that. It's going to changing on the basis of that. Let me increase the size of my sculpture. Now my size of sculpture is going to increased by 16. When I completed all my 16 tasks, I'm going to starting with the first one. I'm going to start with what? First one. Can I put one more variable here, like for next and the previous one? Why don't I add one more button, and that will working as a previous, like that will work as a previous. Okay, and that will be working as what? That will work as a previous. Why don't that work as a previous? Hey, I'm just changing. Yeah, like when we're on click, I'm going to add like on click previous for this on click next, and this is my on click next, and I'm going to use one more thing, and this is will be my one click previous. Okay, use this syntax. I am using this next and my previous here. Okay, on click previous. Inside this I'm going to adding -1, and that's it. When I'm clicking on the next, I'm going to the next button. When I'm going to click previous, I'm going to previous button. What if I'm on the first one and I'm clicking the next, and I'm going to click the previous? Let's see what kind of error I'm getting or not getting. Actually, I have used this percentage, like percentage, or taking the modulus of the length of next page is not exceeding with the sculpture dot length. What is my sculpture? It's my JSON file. Okay, let's see. I am getting an error. Okay, I'm getting an error. So to handle this error, I require to say, like, when I am on the last page, I require to add this functionality to moving towards the 12th page. Okay, I require to handle this error. To handling this error, I require to doing what? Let me do one thing. Like everything is working here properly, like 16, 11, 14, 17, 18, then 1, then 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 10, 11. For next, nothing giving me an error. For the previous, everything is working till 1. When a person is clicking the previous at the time of 1, it's giving me error. Like it's giving me error. We can handle this error by sending the previous to where? To send the look. And how we are going to handle this? We can handle this by uh, adding one more. Adding what? I can add with this, or going to add by this, or may call it sculpture.length. This or sculpture.length. And that's it. Let's see, when I click on the previous, I am still getting error. Like what I'm trying to do here. Like that's quite giving inside this bracket. Now when I click on previous, Still I'm getting error, like can't access this thing. Like when this is going to giving me error like this. When this value when this value is when this value is 18, no, 1, and I click here, that time do this. If page is greater than 1, not equals to 0. If a page is not equals to, then doing this. If new page is not equals to 0, then do like what? Set new page equals to new page. Set new page equals to set new page. Else, doing what? Set new page equals to scripture.length equals to what? Going to adding this scripture.length. I think now it's working. Like when I click next, it's going to, oh, setting what can't read the property undefined. I'm not giving going to may giving this result in the form still giving me error. Actually previous is working for all, like 6 5 4 3 2 1 at the time of 1. So -1. new page equals to what? 65321. By the time of 1, it's giving me error. And I require to add this function like simple if statement, like if my new page uh, is less than 0, then I'm going to working with setting the set the new page to what? Sculpture.length. That's same thing. So next, previous, still giving the error, like when it's become equals to -1, no, equals to 1, no. When my next page equals to 5, I'm going to set it like this: 3, 4, 5, and 5, 6, 5, 4, 3. It's not working. 5. Next. Previous. Still giving me error like what? If my page is less than sculpture.length, if my page is uh, less than or equals to 0, if my page is equals to 0, if my page is equals to 0, then I'm going to set this, otherwise everything is going to work like this. Can't read property like undefined things. Usually I'm not able to render the things like this. Sculpture equals to sculpture.page. -1. Length -1. When you ask to ChatGPT why this is not why this is giving me error, like this kind of unexpected error, why um I'm not able to work with previous when index equals to what 1. Previous function has logical issue. The issue is arises because you are calling set new page twice, once inside if block and again after it. Second call or out overwrites the value of set if block, causing unexpected behavior of index 1. When the page, okay, I'm going to call only once. Okay, I'm going to working with this like else like this. When I click previous, now it's working. Hey, it's working, it's working, now it's working. I supposed to use this previous only one at a time. I'm not, I should just wait for a second. I'm really sorry for background noise. So let's check it again. Now its previous is working properly like 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and when I click previous, it's on 18. Boom, guys. Boom, boom, boom. Like whenever my sculpture is on the last mode or make it -1, it's going to working like this. If I not using like this, like when I calling it as a 0 or calling it as a just like this, what's going to like next? It's giving me error. Like when I call in it as a -1 and giving the error like this, it's giving me an error because it's out of bound kind of situation. And when I'm going to add it like this -1 and I clicking the previous, that's working properly, guys. So we have just added the next and the previous option inside our state. So this kind of scenario we are going to fetch it, and we also controlling this thing by this. can we control this previous options in this way, like just using like this, like clockwise? My array is working here like perfectly with this clockwise. Do I am able to apply as anti-clockwise? This will work as a clockwise. Can I am able to use it as a anti-clockwise also? If it's so, if it's so, can you provide the code? Can you provide the code for that? Can you provide the code for that? Like here, for the clockwise, for the yes, the code snippet will work as a clockwise, like this, like +1 and everything's alright. And then for the cluster and everything's 5%, 5 is giving me error like 0. And for the consideration to working with, yes, you can modify this by this, like to working with this anti-clockwise. For anti-clockwise, whenever you click on the next page, my page will be working like this, like always be like this, like page minus 1 plus sculpture list dot length percentage of like this. Okay, from this example we are able to add the anti-clockwise scenario in our application. All right guys, so let's adding here, like just add like this. I'm removing this existing code, and at the time of calculating the oh sorry at the time of calculating the page, at the time of calculating the page, oh, now it's giving me error, lot of error. Oh, hope you understand the things, like actually it start giving me error right now. That's why it's not working. For the next and the previous, for the previous option, we are going to adding like this, adding the sculpture dot length, then dollar percentage, then giving the inner boundary and the exit boundary. Okay. So moving forward, the handle click, all this thing is like we have just learned all this thing like this, and but in this example when the user is out of the bound, it's giving the error. To handling that out of bound scenario, let page let next page equals to index +1 inside the boundary of sculpture dot length, inside the boundary of sculpture dot length, and I'm going to calling the what, I'm going to call the next page. Okay, and when a user is clicking on the next, it will working for 1 2 3 4. It's not for this code not going to error, giving any kind of error, not going to giving any kind of error. So, and if I want to add the previous button inside the same code, if I want to previous button for right now, Both the thing is working for the same. And I'm going to previous, and I'm going to add the p character here for the previous. Okay, and creating one more helping function. Inside this I'm going to add the p, but thing is like we are going to adding the minus one, and this minus one should be exceed the this length. It's not to be zero at any cost. It's not to be backing the negative number. It's always be more than that. It's always more than that. It's always more than that. Sculpture dot, it's always more than that. It's always more than that. Like when you click on the next, it's moving forward. When you click on previous, it's moving backward. It's moving backward. When it's become one, and when you click on the place of one, it's on the 12th index. So see the magic of previous and the next, how things working here, like amazing. All right, hope you understand this thing, and if you understand this logic, please comment below and say yes. Okay, say dot, say dot is our signature. Okay, our dot is our signature word. Okay, dot is our signature signature move, like not op, not xd, we are using dot. Okay, so comment below dot. Okay guys, comment below dot. So hope you understand how things is working here. I think there is no error. Okay, when user click on the previous, it will still working. So hope you understand this, and meet your first hook. In React, use state. Always we remember whenever this character use you see before or as a prefix at any syntax, you may see like you can consider it as a hook. Okay, as well as any other function starting with use is called hook. The simple definition of hook. All right. Hooks are special function. What are hook? Hooks are special function that's are only available while React rendering. Okay, hooks are the special function that's only available at the time of React rendering. Okay, which will get into the more detail on the next page. Okay, on the next page, React rendering and the commit. Okay, at that time we are going to learn more about this. For now, they let you hook into different React features. State is just one of these. State is just one of these those features, but you will meet other hooks later. Okay, for now you are going to using this use state. You will also familiar with use ref, use effect, and use events. More than that, okay, what are the pitfall for using this hook? Hooks function start with use, can only be called at the top level of your component, your own hook. Okay, your own hooks can call that. You can't call hook inside condition, loop, or another nest function. Hooks are function, but it's helpful to think of them unconditional declaration about the component's need. You use a React feature at the top of your component similar to you how to import modular as the file. Okay, how we are importing the file, at the same as that we are using the hook here. All right, guys. Like, what is the anatomy of hook? Use state anatomy. Like, we are going to more depth of this use state. When you call state, you are telling React that you want this component to remember something. We want this component to remember something like this. Like index will store the data, and the set index is going to update the data and remember all the changes. In this case, you want to React to remember index. Okay, remember this index. Okay, the con- the convention is name the pair like const. Okay, like something to set something. You could name it anything you like, but convention may make things easier to understand across the project. Okay, the only argument to use state is the initial value. Okay, you are required to set the initial value to your state variable. In this example, index initial value is setting to 0. You can set anything like null, undefined, or not a number, any object, or any, even with any array or any kind of primitive or non-primitive objects here. Okay, every time your component render, use state gives you an array containing two values. Okay, array containing two values. First is this state variable called index, which is the value you store the things. And the second is the state setter function, and that's the state setter function is known as a set index, which can update the state variable and trigger react to render the component again. Okay, it's going to render your component again. Like this is the declaration here. Your component render the first time because you passed the 0. Okay, your component is rendered at the first time because you passed the word 0 as an index. To use state, the initial value of index is like this, like 0 with set index. Return React remember 0 at least state value, okay, for the first time. You update the state when you click on the button like set index plus 1. Index is 0, so it get index set index 1. This tells React to remember index is now 1, not 0. Alright, now the trigger another render. Your component's second render React will still see use state 0, but because React remember that you set index to 1, it return 1 as the instant of 0. Alright. React is able to see the use state 0 at the second rendering, but React has to remember that index 1 is already changed, so my initial value is not going to 0. My initial value is going to what index like 1. So, and that so on. Let's see, giving a component multiple state variable, giving a component with multiple state variable. Like here is my state variable like index, set index like this, show more, set show more. Like when you click on the show more, show details, it's showing you details. When you hide, it's going to hide. When you're moving forward, it's going to moving forward. Okay, hide, show details, hide details, show details, hide details, show details. Okay, to moving to using this, we are going to use this boolean expression like use state false and true. Okay, handling next. We have mastered this handling function. Okay, we can work with this easily. We can working with this easily. For the next handle mode click, like when they, let me show you, like for this time when I click on the next, okay, my current value of my use state is false. Right now my current value of my use state is false. So every time you click on the next, it's showing, not showing you the detail of your sculpture. It's not going to showing you the detail of your sculpture. To showing that, either as you click the show details, now whatever the value inside the now the value of show mode is false, it's going to changing to true, it's going to changing the true with this not operator. So set show more now becomes true as I click on the as I click on the show details. Okay, as now it's become true. So whenever you click next, it's it's oh it's a false of this. Why don't I make it easier with that? Okay, now it's working for this too. Okay, now okay, when you click on the hide show details, it's going to showing all the details at all the time because my second show modes become true. And when you click on the hide details, now all the details will going to hide. Okay, all the details going to be hide here. All details is going to be hide. Okay, so this kind of things we can add easily. So okay, it is good idea to have multiple state variable if their state is unrelated like index and show mirror in this example. But if you find that you often change two state variable together, it might be easier to combine them into one. For example, if you have a form with many fields, it's more convenient to have single state variable that holds object that state pair and choosing the state structure for tip. We can work with this in the next lectures for now. Like what if you are going to dealing both the state with single variable, and that's become more convenient but it's depend on the case to case what kind of scenario you have now, what kind of scenario we want to add. Okay, at the time, like if like in the form, like most of the functionality is same for all these, like you are required to complete all the fields and remember things like how does React know which state to return. Okay, this is a mechanism how React to know the which state to be returned. You might have noticed that useState call does not receive any information which state variable is referred to. But actually we referring through set move and the set index. Still, I don't know how things work. Like actually this is working as the setter function. Like both the setter function is different for both. You don't think so? Like setter function is different here. In both the scenarios, the setter function is different. That's why it may be like any other reason. Let's read out. Call does not receive any information about which state variable is referred to. There is no identifier that is passed to use state. So how does it know which of the state variable is returned? Does it rely on magic like passing your function? There's the answer is no. Instead, they enable their concise syntax hooks rely on the stable call order on every render of the same component. Okay, it's rely on the stable call order, like which function calls first, and on the basis of like that. This works well in practice because if you follow the rule above only call hook at the top level, hooks will rely always be called in the same order. Additionally, a linter plugin catch most mistake. Initially, React holds an array of state pair for every component. If it also maintains the current pair index, which is set to 0 before rendering. Each time you call use state. Each time you call use state, and React gives you the next pair of increment. React is going to giving you next pair of increment. You can read more about the mechanism from this. I think connection is not secure right now. So this example does not use React, doesn't use React, but it gives you an idea how useState works internally. So let's see how useState works internally. Like we have index.html that's working for next and show details kind of things like this structure that with the simple index with the button and the h1 tag and the button for the more, okay, and the simple styling, okay, and inside this index.html index.js, inside this index.js we have a component hook, a simple array, null array, and the current hook index, and getting the current hook index, okay. It is working as a what, it's work as state variable, state var, that's controlling the current value, initial value, okay. For this function use state, I have created this function use state, okay. I have the function use state, I'm getting the initial value, initial state. How use state works inside React simplified. Let pair equals to component hook, current hook index, component hook and the current hook index. If pair has something, then we are going to increment the hook index, value of hook index, and return the pair, okay. We are going to return the pair. Inside the pair I'm going to, this is not the first render, so the state pair already exists. Render, return it as a prepare for next hook call, okay, for preparing the next hook call. Pair of initial state and the set state, and functional to set state, component hook, and having this pair, and we are going to updating, increment every pair by rendering. And always remember, like this state is update the DOM, update DOM, update DOM. Actually, what's the, where is the root? So this is my sculpture, this is my images, description, all this thing is rendering from there. It's just updating the DOM, like re-renderation in the real React project, and updating the DOM. What is rendering? Converting the virtual DOM to real DOM, from React virtual DOM to real DOM. It's called rendering. For the updating the DOM, to update the DOM, on click, on more click, handle counter, more. What is happening inside the update DOM? It's going to current hook index equals to 0. Let output will be the gallery. What's gallery is here? Here the function gallery is called from what? At the time I'm not going to, yeah, this function is my gallery. Each use state call, when call will get the next pair. Inside this gallery I'm going to creating this use state. And before this, every from now, from gallery, everything is similar as we are using. Returning this what? Returning this thing. And function that updating the gallery. Let output will be this. And setting the current index to 0 at every single column. And inside this gallery, what I have uh, destructure the use state. Now set state is like this. Component hook and current hook index. Use state. Okay. Inside my use state, I'm taking the initial value of state. I'm getting the initial value of state. Okay. For the initial value of state is my 0. When it's 0, my component hook and the hook states like going to 0. Like now the value is null right now. If pair is nothing, if my pair is null, if there is a nothing, then do nothing. If pair is nothing, when this pair is empty, then do what? The initial state will be my initial state and set state will be my what? Now set state is my function, is my callback function, and I'm calling like this here. I'm calling my set state here. I'm calling my set here, set state here. And this set state is going to working like what? At next time the set state is called for next state. And pair of zeros, the zeroth position, my next state will be my actual thing. And after that I'm going to render this thing. After that I'm going to update all this renderation. Like at the time of update, what's happening? Current hook will be 0 and my output will be equals to what? My output will be the gallery, and the gallery is my function. uh, and again I'm going to call this, and again I'm going to call this. Actually things is just working similar like how you are going to handle this thing. Like actually we are sending the data from every rendering. Okay, we are sending the data from every rendering. That's why things is happen. Okay, so moving forward, like state is isolated and private. State is isolated and private. State is a local to component instance on the screen. In other words, if you render the same component twice, each copy will be completely isolated state. Okay, if you render the same component twice, each copy will be the isolated. There will be no any connection with both. Like if galleries are rendered twice, like I have two gallery. When I click on next, only this state is going to change, not for this. When I click on the next, when I show these details, I'm not showing the details of this. Both are identical. Both are isolated from each other, from each. Okay. Hope you understand what I'm trying to say. The gallery is same thing that data is here. Like okay. In this example, the gallery component for earlier is rendered twice with no changing the logic. Try catching on the click. Okay. We understand the thing. This is what makes state different from regular variable. Okay, it's different from regular variable. Like it's not going to change the data for both the things. Like if I'm working with a single regular variable with twice, at the time things is different for that. Like when you click on the button and changing the value or increment that, and that also be changing for both the things. That's not going to be identical for both. Okay. That you might declare at the top of the module. State is not tied to particularly function, call or place in the code, but it's local to specific place on the screen. You can render two times to gallery components so their state is stored separately. Okay. Also notice how the page component does not know anything about gallery, state, or even whether it has any. Unlike props, state is fully private to component declare it. Okay, even component does not don't know about the state. There is a no connection between component to any state. Like state don't know the existence of which component. That's a magic of state. The parent component can't change it. Okay, it let you add state to any component or remove it without implementing the rest of the component. Like even parent component can't change it. Like component, like I have this component, and if I declare the state in any child component, the parent component is not going to change that child component's state. If they really want, then it's required to doing with props or any kind of deep drilling of props, okay, at that time. Okay, what if you want if you wanted both galleries to keep their state in sync, like both things work at the same time? This the right way to do the React to remove state from child component and add it through the closest shared parent. The few pages focusing on the same thing and working the same. Like what they saying, like when you click on next, it's not when you click on the next, it's not going to change the state for the same. Like it's not going to change the state only for this, changing both at the time. What you can do thing like you're required to send the state to the parent component here, for the parent component that going to change the both the things. Like let me do one thing. Like here I'm just cutting this state from here and sending my state to the main page. Okay, I send my state to the main page and sending the set index, or called sending like index equals to index set index equals to set index. Okay, and show more equals to set show more. And show more set show more equals to set show more. I think this is going to working. Now when I'm going to use this as index, copy and getting all the details inside my gallery like index and set index inside my gallery, then show more inside this gallery, then set to show more. The last props will be my what, and this will be my last prop, set to show more. Now I'm going to changing the details from here. Actually, I'm sending the props from my parent to my child to changing the state value, to changing my state's value. Index set index or things working. And I require to use this state before importing this all this thing. Now it's work. Now I require, now see the magic. Now both the both the component work simultaneously. Okay. To working the component with both these things at the same time, you're required to use the you're required to use like what if you want both gallery to keep their state synchronously, keep changing the state synchronously. The right way to do it, react, is to remove the state from child component and add their closest shared parent. And in this my case, my closest shared parent is my app.js, and app.js is my and app.js is my what, and now app.js is my closest shared parent of my gallery.js. That's why it's working similarly. Bro, if you want to join me, you can join from my Discord server. I have just given the link below. You can check there. Okay. So moving forward, like everything's working properly. Like both the things work similarly. When you click on the next, it's going to next. Hey, why this error? I don't want to see this error. To removing this error, you're required to use what? You're required to do the same thing that I'm going to work more than. You can use a clockwise array. Dot this. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Now the array is not going to give. Yeah. All right. So hope you understand what I'm trying to say, guys. So moving forward. Now, oh, okay. Right way to close this parent. The next few page will be focusing on organize the state and the single component, but we will return to the topic sharing state between components. Okay, so from next two or four lectures, we are going to focusing on the states and how we are going to working with that. For now, today's lecture is going to be ending. Before that, we are going to complete this recap and some challenges on this. Okay. Use state variable when component need to remember things that at that time you are going to use the use variable, I mean state variable, some information between the render. Okay, state variables are declared by calling the use state as hook, like this. This is what how you're going to work like this. Okay, you're required to call that hook. Hooks are the special function that start with prefix of use, and they let you hook into the React features like state. Okay, hooks might remember you of imports. Okay, hooks might remember you of import. They need to be called unconditionally. Okay, they need to be called unconditionally. Calling hooks and including useState is only valid at the top level of component or another hooks. And this line might be difficult to understanding, but after some deep dive into the hook or use states, you will understand this properly. Okay, everything is not going to be clear at the first click. You're required to be patient for that topic and just working with that. And if need some external information, you can work with ChatGPT or any documentation. Okay, so moving forward, guys, the use state hook returns a pair of values, the current state and the function to update it. Okay, for having two pairs of values for the current state, and the next one is a function. What we call that function, we call the setter function, and this is my state variable and the setter function. Okay, you can have more than one state variable in internally. React match them up by their order. Okay, how they're making the order on the basis of rendering, like what is the position inside the watcher function. Okay, I'm not going to declare a technical okay. A state is a private to component. Even component don't know about that. Okay, only private to component, it's only declared inside it. If you want to declare, if you declare somewhere else and want to use somewhere else, then you require to use the props at that time and working with that. Okay guys, if you render it in two places, each copy gets its own state. Okay, and considering it as a own state, like as it was working earlier. If I reset this code, if I reset it code, and I have used the same gallery twice, now every now at this time my both the hooks going to be copied twice and rendering at their self separately. It's not going to affect to the other components, it's not going to affect any other component. That's a magic here. Okay, so moving towards the challenge of our day, we are going to completing or conquer the four challenge. The challenge one: complete the gallery. Complete the gallery. When you press next on the on the last sculpture, the code crash. Oh God! This challenge we have already cleared. The fix the logic, prevent the crash. You may doing adding extra logic to event handler or describing the button from the action not possible. So well, we know it very well how we are going to working. Like when you click on the next, when you click on the next right now, it's going to crash. Okay, to remove to updating to removing this crash, we are going to add just what sculpture index, uh, putting the things in the boundary. We are going to taking the modulus or called reminder of that maximum value. Okay, okay, now when the user click on the next, 10 11 12, now it's become 1. Now code is not going to be crash. And see the solution here. The solution says, oh, they are using lot of logic here, and that's not really workful. That's workful, but a thing is like they are not using the percentage sign. That's why. Oh, they're also trying to adding the previous value. Okay, okay. Do I have to add the previous one? Okay, after first crash, add previous button to. Okay, I require to add previous one too. So I'm also going to add the previous button here. No issue. previous. Okay, and the previous is going to handling with this function, and the logic for my previous will be going to change inside here. My logic for previous going to be changed, and it's going to index -1. It's going to creating the index -1 and adding the minimum, adding the minimum value with what? Sculpture.length. Adding the minimum value to what? Sculpture.length. Okay. Now my next is going here. Now previous is going back. And when I have to working with that one, I'm getting to 12th position, and that's a magic, bro. That's a magic. Okay. Hope you understand how things is working here. We have already tackled this thing in starting time, at the time of starting. And when my user is here, what they are doing, they stop the visibility. At the time when it's not working in the loop. They just stop the things. Okay, how they are disabling the things, like when has proof, has previous, has next, and when handle the button for the previous. If this, like this. Okay, so we have just clear our challenge. So moving forward, here in the next challenge, I require to fix the stuck from input. Okay, when you type into the input field, nothing appear, like hi. Okay, thing is not appearing. Yes, it's like the input value is stuck with empty. Yes, empty string. The value of first input is set always match the first name variable, and value of the second input is set to always match to the last name variable. This is a correct, but both inputs have on change. Okay, on change event handler, which type to update the variables based on the last update input. Okay, a.target.value. However, the variable does not seem to remember their value between rendering. Fix this using the state form. All right, we are supposed to stop the preventing the things, like handle target.value in the last value. The next. Prevent default. All right, on submit prevent default. Okay, when someone click on the reset, handle reset, in that at that time things is going to be working. Reset all the things, and on change in the input value on changes, and I require to handle the first name change. First name equals to e.target value, event.target value, whatever the value inside that, where it's going to be. For this kind, like every time whenever the on changes come, the rendering will be appear. To handle that, I'm going to use what? Import the use state from React. Okay, we are going to import the use state from React, and I'm going to use and const my first name, this is my first name, set first name, set first name with this, okay, and my first name as the use state as the default value with null or called empty string, and the same things will be work for the last name, then set the last name, okay, set the default value to null, and I'm not going to update the things of first name and the last name. I'm going to what? I'm going to set the first name and the last name. Set first name here and the set last name here. Okay, not even like this. I'm setting the update using like this. In this way. In this way. Okay. We are setting the value in this way. In the first name, in the set the first name and set the last name. Okay. And this handle reset will be working the same, but thing is not going to work like this. We are going to reset the button like set first name to be null, set last name to be null, and then setting the first name and the setting the last name to be null, setting the first name and the last name to be null. Okay, after this I am just set the first name to be null and the last name to be null. Okay, and not null, it's an empty string. I'm sorry, I'm not using the correct term. Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay, now at the next time what I'm going to work with, uh, I require to doing what, and what the value is coming, and I have just updated both the things, like my set first name will be updating here and the set last name updating here. It's going to set first name null, last name to null, and I'm going to use the first name and the last name here. My first name value will be my first name on change this, on change the last name. Inputs value will be inside my first name, inside my last name, and the value will be showing here like first name and the last name. So if I'm trying to say anything like prince, and I'm going to click command, now it's working. When you click on the reset, everything's going to reset. Okay, like if I add the name like a to the place, like it's also working. Reset. Okay guys, hope you understand how things is going to work. Okay, like if I reset it, everything is working like persona, like inside this app TV. That's also high personality. That's also working here. And I'm just saying like on the reset, that's going to reset all my things. So hope you're all guys, so you understand how things is working here. So let's see the solution here in the blue. In the first use the input, like we just using the same thing. Like thing is working same. Like things is working same. At the time reset, set the first name to the thing. Okay, and all this thing is working same. So assignment first team. Okay. So moving to next challenge, guys. Like fix the crash. There is one more challenge. In this challenge, we are here is a small. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Here is a small form. Okay, that is supposed to. What is happening? Small form that is supposed to let user leave some feedback. All right. When the feedback is submitted, it's supposed to display thank you message. However, it crashed with error message saying rendered fewer hooked and expected. Rendered fewer hooks than expected. Rendered fewer hooks than expected. Can you support to fix that? Like if I send like good, and if I'm sending this, sending good, okay, okay, no. And after the sending good, it's not going to sending me the sharing with me the thanks message. Let's see what's the error here. I'm going to like return the thank you in the h1 tag. Okay, and but and I have used the React here, and this is my main component. Feedback form is my main component. Okay, and I have used I have my use state variable. Sorry. Okay. I have a state variable that containing the false or true is sent or not. When the value is sent, it's going to render the data like returning the is sent. Else, what's going to else? At the time, it's going to message set message. Okay, supposed to be form prevent default alert me. We are going to sending with our message and set is sent true. Okay, and text area, this all are the simple things. Okay, let me reset this at once. After I reset this, thing is same, but at the time of submit I require to hold this thing and taking the form inside there, and thing is work like set message to be target dot value. Actually, we are going to using the arrow function here to handle the value. Set message to my value, and inside my message, the message current message will be my that thing. The problem is start when the rendering is there. Like when the first rendering is happened, thing is working properly. I type my name, whatever the my feedback I'm going to write here, but giving me error at the time I send the message, and that's also sending like hi. That's sending. That's showing me like sending hi. And when I click on OK, it's not showing me the thank you message like this. It's not rendering. Why this is not rendering? I send to this when when the thing is here, it's showing the alert message. As they showing the alert message, I update the I'm going to update the what state. Whenever state changes, whenever the state is changing, always showing the true. I'm changing the state to true. Oh god, I require two working with. Now state is true. At this time, when my state is true, actually I'm trying to changing my state from inside the form. As I send the details, alert message is shown out. After that, I'm trying to update this and it's returning. I have two statements of return. I have two return statements. One is message sent and another one is this. Let me use both this statement here. I'm not going to making things collapse and at the time of returning I'm going to return here. At the time of else of return, when the message is not sent, I'm going to return this form on submit alert message. Sending with alert message. Let me check it's working or not. That's it. Actually, what happened? We are not supposed to use declare the const, declare the use state inside or inside the local function. Actually, the when I click on the function like send, at the time the form is going to be clearing out. It's not existing at the time. And when the state variable is not going to be understand what happened, actually states need to have the record of every state variable. Okay, React is required to understand the what happened to that state variable. At the time when I'm declaring the state variable inside this form, okay, when I declare the state variable inside the form, when the form is closed or submitted, the message index or message state variable is not existing, and that's why it's giving me error like what kind of error? Rendering few hooks has expected. Some rendering hooks should be expected and some rendering hooks are missing out. That's why it's going to giving me error. So okay guys, let's see the function. Like hint, are there any limitation on the where hook may be called? Does component break any rule? Yes, component is breaking the rule. Always declare the variable in the top of the component. Check if there is any comment on the disable and all that. Let's show the solution. Yeah, same thing. Declare the things on the top. Okay. Hooks can only be called at the top level of a component function. Always be remembered this guys. Hooks can only be called at the top level of component. Why? Because whenever the component renders, it's re-render all the data. Re-render all the data. When there is any missing of any hook, at the time it's giving error. Okay. Here the first is set definition. Follow this rule, but message definition is nested in the condition, nested inside the condition. Hooks are not declared inside any condition. It's always be declared in the top level of the component. Always remember this guys. Okay, Remember, hooks must be called unconditionally and always be in the same order. Always be in the same order. You are not supposed to change the order of hook. Actually, uh, uh, React need to maintain the diary for their self, like what is there, and it's just like a black box of any website. Like every plane have their black box. Every information about the plane is stored in that black box. At the end of the crash of the plane, every information in that black box. And the hook of state hook is just like that. That's storing every information about your components that you want to store. If any component is missing out, that's giving an error. Always be in the same order without any condition. Okay? Conditionless. Always declare the hook conditional unconditionally. You could also remove the unnecessary else branches to reduce the nesting. Okay. However, it's still important that all uh, calls or to hook happens before the first return. Okay. All the hooks that you want to use that should be declared before any for first rendering. Okay. Try move to the second use state call after if condition. Nothing. If linter, if your linter is configured for React, you should see the lint error and the mistake that you can does not error and fault error and what is the project. Okay. So moving forward, guys, to our next and the last challenge of our day: remove unnecessary state. Okay, remove unnecessary state when the button is clicked. When the button is When the button is clicked, this example should ask for user name and then display the alert greeting them. You try to use state to keep the name, but for some reason it always shows hello. It's not showing the name of the person. To fix this code, remove the unnecessary state variable. You will discuss about why this does not work later. Can you explain why the state visible is unnecessary? Like when I click on the grid, like it's asking for my name. Like if I take persona, and when I click OK, it's like hello, but my name is not displaying here. Actually, the same thing is the same thing. Like let's check about this. Like feedback form is my component. Okay, I have declared the state variable with name and the set name, and the initial value is empty. Okay, and I have a one of my button. That button is going to a click, and that handle click, and set the name as the prompt that is getting from, and showing the name after that. Okay, the name is not showing to me. Now, do I require to use that name, or I can directly store in local variable like let name equals to great name like persona, click OK, hi persona, hello persona, and that's working. It's not necessary to always be using the hook. Okay, yeah, just remove the hook from here. Like why that is not working at that time. Let's see the reason for that. Like you have declared the hook state, everything is properly, like inside the handle click. When the user click on this handle, you are going to set the name state, new name to that, okay, and setting the name as the name. Actually, prompt as to click on the things. Mm, what was the reason for that? Let's check the solution. Actually, thing is like you are not supposed to use these things. You're just going to using the let name equals to prompt dot things, and that's working properly. Like persona, when you click on the next, hello persona is going to displaying you. But thing is like why this happening? Like thing is like same. Okay. And then here is a fix of the version of the name variable and then getting the things like state variable is only necessary to keep information between the re-rendering of components. Okay, state variable is only necessary to keep information between re-renders of a component within a single event handler. Within a single event handler, a regular variable will do fine. Okay, for the single event handling, the regular variable is to do the fine. Don't introduce state variable when regular variable works well. Okay, don't introduce regular state variable when the regular variables works well. Okay, and that's an missing thing here. If I give you a task like our challenge is completed here, but if I want to giving you a task like create a task like what, okay, like no, that I will declare, I will discuss that task again in next lecture. So before that, I want to show you like we have just completed all our tasks or challenges today. And today's lecture, in next lecture or tomorrow, we are going to start with render and commit. In this, at the time, we will work on this and see what is this and what happened to that. So all guys, hope you understand today's lecture and hope you will practice all these challenges by yourself and try to make something new. And that's it for today. And hope you join the Discord server for more information. Okay, so that's it for today. And see you in next lecture. Okay, thank you.